A tropical cyclone could slam into Western Australia this weekend. 100 millimetres of rain in just 24 hours. Multiple states about to see their first proper rainfall in weeks. But here is what nobody is telling you. The computer models changed overnight, and what looked certain yesterday is now completely up in the air. Right now, a low-pressure system is tracking across the Northern Territory into Western Australia, and meteorologists are giving it a moderate chance of becoming a fully formed tropical cyclone. Moderate does not mean safe. It means 50-50. And in 30 seconds, I'm going to show you exactly which coastal towns need to prepare right now. The satellite imagery from this morning shows something fascinating. Most of southern Australia remains bone dry, high pressure dominates. But look at this low pressure zone leaving the Northern Territory. It is headed straight for the Kimberley coast. Broome, Port Hedland, Karratha. You need to pay attention to this next part. Here is your first reward. By Sunday, Port Hedland could see 100 millimetres of rain. Some areas might get more. That is 4 inches of rain in a single day, hitting one of the driest regions in the country. When was the last time you saw that kind of rainfall in the northwest? But that cyclone risk, that is where things get interesting. There is a second area of low pressure to the south. This southern low is acting like a vacuum trying to absorb the northern system. If that southern low was not there, we would be looking at a much higher chance of tropical cyclone formation. But because these two systems are interacting, the energy is spreading out. Think of it like two whirlpools merging. Sometimes they create something bigger. Sometimes they cancel each other out. The Bureau of Meteorology is already tracking this system, and here is what the latest modelling shows. Friday, the low drifts over the Kimberley. Broome gets hit first. Thunderstorms, heavy rain, gusty winds. We are talking about 20 to 50 millimetres in some spots, possibly more where thunderstorms concentrate. Some of that wet weather pushes east. Northwestern New South Wales might see a few showers and thunderstorms. South Australia gets clipped. But the main event remains in Western Australia. High pressure is still the dominant force across the south. It stretches from southwest of Perth all the way to Victoria, then links up with another high-pressure system in the Tasman Sea. This is why Melbourne stays dry. This massive ridge of high pressure acts like a shield, blocking any meaningful rain from reaching the southeastern states. Comment below where you are watching from, and I will give you a specific forecast for your area in the next video. Seriously, drop your location in the comments right now. Saturday brings the critical moment. The low moves offshore, and this is when tropical cyclones are born. Not over land, over water. Warm ocean temperatures fuel these systems. The sea is like gasoline for cyclones. Once this low gets over the Indian Ocean, it has access to that fuel. By Saturday, thunderstorms and showers in the Northern Territory sink southward. Alice Springs gets wet weather. The top half of South Australia sees rainfall. Finally. Some of these areas have been waiting weeks for decent rain. New South Wales continues to see showery weather. Victoria, still dry. The Australian Capital Territory, mostly dry. Tasmania gets a few showers around the hills, but nothing substantial. Here is where you need to start paying very close attention. Sunday. The computer modelling from this morning shows Sunday has the highest chance for tropical cyclone formation. Not guaranteed. Moderate risk. But meteorologists do not use that term lightly. Around Port Hedland and south, we are forecasting 100 millimetres or more in just 24 hours. For context, that is the kind of rainfall that causes flash flooding in urban areas. It overwhelms drainage systems. It turns dry creek beds into raging rivers in minutes. The heavy rain also moves out of Alice Springs, tracking into South Australia, and now it drops further south into more populated areas. Whyalla, you are in the firing line. Port Augusta, Port Pirie. These towns could see 20 to 50 millimetres, with some locations pushing 60 millimetres if thunderstorms set up properly. More showers and thunderstorms push into New South Wales. The low pressure zone sits over the northwestern corner of Victoria and southern parts of New South Wales. And this is where things get interesting for Melbourne and regional Victoria. If you live in Victoria and you have been praying for rain, this is your moment. We might finally see showers and thunderstorms spreading into parts of the state on Sunday. Now, I need to manage expectations here. We are not talking about drought-breaking rainfall. We are looking at 1 to 15 millimetres for most areas. But after weeks of dry conditions, even 10 millimetres makes a difference for gardens, for water tanks, for fire danger ratings. Tasmania might see more of a northeasterly flow on Sunday, which increases shower chances. Meanwhile, large parts of Queensland stay dry, southwest Western Australia stays dry, but the far north gets the usual tropical weather, scattered showers, afternoon thunderstorms, high humidity. Monday is when the heat cranks up. South Australia, Western Australia, northwestern New South Wales, you are looking at temperatures climbing into the mid to high 30s Celsius. Hot, dry, northwesterly winds dominate. But here is the contrast. Some locations near the mountains in New South Wales could get 100 millimetres in 24 hours on Monday. Other inland areas might see 20 to 60 millimetres, depending on exactly where those thunderstorms form. Thunderstorms are finicky. They concentrate rainfall. One town gets flooded. The next town 15 kilometres away stays completely dry. Does this wet weather reach Victoria? At this stage, it only brushes the northern parts of the state. But this could change. If that high pressure system shrinks just a little bit, the wet weather sinks further south. If the air pressure goes up just a little bit more than forecast, it pushes the rain back north. We are in that 50-50 zone, the tropical low that might become a cyclone. On Monday, it is moving south toward Carnarvon, pulling away from Port Hedland. Some areas still seeing 100 millimetres. This is significant rainfall for the northwest coast. Let me show you something interesting. When we compare the European weather model with the American weather model for Monday, they are remarkably close. They agree on the placement of that tropical system. They agree on the rainfall totals. Purple shading means 100 millimetres. Red and darker colours show 60 to 80 millimetres. This is actually rain relief for areas that are typically bone dry. Some of these stations have not recorded decent rainfall in months. Tuesday brings another shift. And this is where the forecast gets tricky. 2 days ago, the models showed this system heading out to sea. Today, they show it sinking further south and getting pulled back inland. Why the change? High pressure nearby affects the path. Tropical lows follow the path of least resistance, like water flowing down a valley. Sometimes the models see an easier route west. Today, the modelling suggests the system has a better chance of tracking southeast. North of Geraldton, we are seeing 150 millimetres in some forecasts. That is 6 inches of rain in the northwest, in areas that usually get maybe 300 millimetres for the entire year. This is a significant rain event. The heat pushes into Victoria on Tuesday, but there is also a drying trend. Thunderstorms in New South Wales start easing back. Tasmania goes dry. Large dry areas return inland. Queensland, from a rainfall perspective, sputters along with just scattered showers. By Wednesday next week, we see wet weather across southern parts of Western Australia. Low pressure dominates the top half of Australia. This brings instability, heat and humidity right down over New South Wales and the Australian Capital Territory. Drier skies appear in many areas, but a rain band might move around southern South Australia. A cooler airflow comes through just south of Adelaide. And speaking of cold, the next cold change is coming for Tasmania. Thursday next week, we might see rain and showers for Victoria, the Australian Capital Territory, southeastern and eastern New South Wales. Showers around South Australia as well. Drier skies return over Western Australia. The top end gets the usual afternoon thunderstorms around Katherine and the Kimberley. Now, let me compare the 8-day rainfall maps for you. This is crucial information. We have 3 different models to look at. The American model shows the path of that tropical low. Watch where the heavy rain concentrates. You can see it fading as it moves south. Also notice the line of thunderstorms moving near Alice Springs, then pushing into New South Wales. Victoria could get 20 to 40 millimetres in some areas. Large dry areas remain for Queensland, except around Cairns, where proper tropical rain brings 200 millimetres. The European model shows similar patterns, but with differences. Perhaps a little more rain inland for Western Australia. Not as much for southern coastal areas. You still have that convergence line through Central Australia coming into New South Wales. Some areas might get over 100 millimetres. The Bureau of Meteorology S-Access model tells a third story, similar to the American model showing heavy rain around Cairns. But this model shows the tropical low turning inland earlier than the other two. That limits rainfall on the southern coastline, but increases rain chances for the eastern half of Victoria. What do all 3 models agree on? That diagonal line of wet weather through the middle of the country, the low pressure system moving through Western Australia. These are the consistent features across all modelling. Here is what you need to understand. This setup is borderline. Things can change in the next 24 hours. One small change in the high pressure strength, one shift in the low pressure track, and the forecast changes. Keep an eye on your local forecast. Check the Bureau of Meteorology website. They update multiple times per day as new data comes in. So let me give you specific timing for key locations. Perth, you stay dry through the weekend, maybe a stray shower on Monday or Tuesday, but high pressure keeps you mostly clear. Temperatures climb into the low to mid-30s Celsius from Monday onward. Adelaide, you have an outside chance of showers and thunderstorms Sunday into Monday, maybe 5 to 15 millimetres if you are lucky, more likely in the hills and northern suburbs. Then a cooler change Tuesday into Wednesday with possible showers. Melbourne, your best rain chance is Sunday into Monday. Northern and eastern suburbs have the highest likelihood. 5 to 15 millimetres possible. Not drought breaking, but better than nothing. Temperatures stay mild through the weekend, then warm up Monday and Tuesday before the next cool change. Hobart, you stay mostly dry. A few showers possible Sunday with that northeasterly flow, maybe 2 to 8 millimetres in exposed areas. A cold change arrives Tuesday night into Wednesday. Showers increase again Thursday. Canberra, showers and thunderstorms arrive Sunday night into Monday. This could be your best rain in weeks, 20 to 60 millimetres possible, higher in the ranges. Storms could be severe with heavy rainfall in short periods, then drying out Tuesday and Wednesday before more showers possible Thursday. Sydney, scattered showers and storms from Sunday through Tuesday. Coastal areas might see 10 to 30 millimetres. Western suburbs and the ranges could get 50 to 80 millimetres if storms train over the same areas. Heaviest falls Monday afternoon and evening, Brisbane. You stay mostly dry through the entire period, maybe a coastal shower Saturday or Sunday, but totals under 5 millimetres. Temperatures climb Monday and Tuesday into the low 30s. Cairns, this is your significant rain event. Saturday through Tuesday, 200 millimetres or more. This is proper tropical rain, heavy downpours, potential flash flooding in low-lying areas. Thunderstorms daily. Darwin, you see typical build-up season weather. Afternoon storms daily, 20 to 40 millimetres most days. Humid and hot. Alice Springs, this is your main rain event. Sunday through Tuesday, 30 to 80 millimetres possible. Some stations could exceed 100 millimetres if that convergence line sets up perfectly. Monday is your wettest day with 20 to 50 millimetres falling. Port Hedland, Karratha, Broome, this is your cyclone risk period. Friday through Monday, 100 to 200 millimetres possible. Strong winds developing Saturday if the low intensifies. Peak impact Sunday into Monday, easing Tuesday as the system moves south. Follow Bureau of Meteorology cyclone warnings closely. Geraldton, you come into play Tuesday and Wednesday. If that tropical low tracks inland, as some models suggest, you might only see 20 to 40 millimetres. If it stays offshore and intensifies, you could see 80 to 150 millimetres with very strong winds. This is the highest uncertainty in the forecast. For everyone watching, here is what you should do right now. Check your property drainage, clean your gutters if rain is forecast for your area, charge your devices in case of power outages from storms, stock up on essentials if you are in the cyclone risk zone, and keep checking official forecasts because this situation is evolving. One more thing before we finish. That tropical cyclone risk for Western Australia is real. Moderate does not mean impossible. It means meteorologists are watching closely. We have warm ocean temperatures. We have a low pressure system. We have the right atmospheric conditions. What we do not have is certainty about how strong it will get or exactly where it will track. This is why you need to stay informed. This is why you cannot just check the forecast once and assume it stays the same. These systems evolve hour by hour. Comment your location below right now and I will include your specific forecast in tomorrow's update. I want to know where you are watching from. Are you in the cyclone zone? Are you hoping for rain in Victoria? Are you dealing with the heat in South Australia? And here is your teaser for the next video. By tomorrow, we will know if that tropical low has intensified. We will have updated rainfall totals. And I'm going to show you something about the long-range pattern that could mean more rain for the southeast in week 2. You do not want to miss that. Stay safe out there, Australia. Keep watching the skies. And remember, weather changes fast, so check back tomorrow.